Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Newsroom series. I'm Olumide Macaulay. The Nigerian Correctional Service has confirmed the recapture of 5 inmates out of the 12 that escaped the medium security custodial center in Kogi, Kogi State, following a jailbreak. Speaking to Channels Television in a telephone conversation, the spokesman of the service, Abubakar Umar, says the incident which occurred early Monday morning left 1 officer dead. The national spokesman of the service disclosed that all the escapees are awaiting trial inmates, but efforts are already been made to recapture the remaining 10 who are on the run. Meanwhile, the Minister of Interior, Dr. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, has ordered immediate probe into the unfortunate prison break incident at the Koton-Karfe Correctional Center in Kogi State. He describes the incident as unfortunate and vows to ensure all fleeing inmates are captured, leveraging the service's robust biometrics and already deployed technology solutions. The Independent National Electoral Commission has confirmed the receipt of the petition seeking the recall of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Edohan as representative of Kogi Central. Secretary to the Commission, Rose Oriara Anthony, received the petition on Monday. Now, the petition presented by Charity Ijese on behalf of the constituents is titled Constituents Petition for the Recall of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Edohan on grounds of loss of confidence. It was submitted pursuant to Section 69 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, as well as INEC regulations and guidelines for recall petitions. Nobel laureate and elder statesman Professor Soyinka has reacted to the suspension of the River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara, his deputy, and the State House of Assembly. Speaking to Channels Television on Channels Television's breakfast show, the morning brief, Professor Soyinka says the suspension is an over-excessive response on the part of the president, adding that he hopes those affected will approach the court over the matter.
And I think that the wholesale scuttling of the democratic existence in the rivers was excessive. I think it could have been managed much better, much more economically. I think the president did not sort of curb the extent. He didn't economize on his presidential emergency powers. There's an issue of the Constitution. Is the president's action constitutional? And I hope the affected politicians, governor and representatives, that they test this all the way up so that we get a clearer picture once and for all. Instead of running around in circles from regime to regime, it should be possible by now for one to be able to say confidently that this action is illegal, is unconstitutional, or otherwise. So for now, we can only leave it to the constitutional lawyers to guide us. Now, the next question is it politically wise? In my view, this takes us on a slippery slope. It's not what I would have liked to see happen right now with all our struggle to attain a federal structure. The spirit of it, in my view, is contrary to the spirit of federalism. Now, I very carefully and deliberately, because this does not vitiate maybe the rightness of the action. It does not establish the wrongness. But with my commitment to a genuine federal structure, when an event like this happens, I say we're back on the slippery slope. And I hope that it is tested all the way, because as I've said, we've been through this before under different regimes. It's either we have a decentralized federalist structure, or we have a quasi-dictatorial, whimsical kind of government which just panders to the political leaning of whoever happens to be in charge at the moment. So that's my take on it. Obviously, I'm going to go deeper and find out just what on earth has been going on in the River State that led to this, what I consider an unfortunate step in our federalist journey.
Staying in Lagos State, the Office of the First Lady of Lagos State has reiterated its commitment to equipping beneficiaries of her office empowerment initiatives with the necessary knowledge, the exposure, and the resources to ensure long-term financial stability and economic independence. The State Senior Special Assistant on Domestic Affairs, Motolani Ladipo, who was speaking of the 2025 Financial Literacy Sensitization Program, emphasized the critical role of financial education in fostering self-reliance and sustainable economic growth. She says financial literacy is a crucial life skill that helps individuals avoid debt traps, plan for the future, and achieve economic stability.
Artisans from different sectors converge on the banquet hall Lagos House Alausa Ikeja for the 2025 Financial Literacy Community Sensitization and Empowerment Program, organized by the Office of the First Lady of Lagos State and designed to equip the people to remain financially stable in business. The annual program featured insightful sessions facilitated by financial institutions alongside government agencies, including the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Investment and the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, highlighting why bookkeeping is important for any business.
You cannot have a good business if you do not understand how to keep your book. Now the question is, what is bookkeeping? This is a daily input of the transactions that happens in your business. Everyday transaction that happens in your business, monetarily and every other activities, you put it down, you have a place where you write it down.
Financial literacy is not just about personal gain, it is about creating a ripple effect that benefits your family, your community, and ultimately our nation.
We see today that there's insufficient capital. Capital is never enough. You probably have plans to do X, Y, Z, but you don't have the resources to be able to get these things done. We are also interested in the well-being of our customers. If you succeed, the bank also succeed. If you prosper, we also prosper. But once you have issues, and the long run of it also falls back to the bank. So our own main goal is for us to see how we can empower our customers, our potential customers, and also bring them up. Because we cannot do it all alone. We have to rise together.
Participants here are also advised to form cooperatives within the group in order to have access to loans.
In Lagos State, if you have 20 people of like minds, you can form a cooperative society. Just 20 people coming together and pulling your resources together and having access, you can have access to loan at single digits.
Some of the artisans applaud the state government for educating them about financial literacy.
I gain very much, I gain a lot as an artisan. I believe that if the people of Lagos State, the artisans are getting employed with good empowerment, I believe that they are going to be a good relief.
I will just give them kudos for recognizing the artisans. I want to assist us in promoting the business. We know with the informal sectors, we contribute a lot to the GDP of the state. So this is going to improve the tax as well.
Representing the First Lady of Lagos is the Senior Special Assistant on Domestic Affairs, Motolani Ladipo, who says the Financial Literacy Empowerment Initiative is very crucial for the people to maximize their resources effectively.
Go to all agencies. We go to Association of Registered Artisans in Lagos State. We collect people from them, and then she gives them the tools they need for their trade. And in doing that, we do this financial literacy program to let them know that it's not about you selling this thing. If you sell it today, you get 20,000, you get 100,000. No matter how big the money is, you finish spending it. But we want you to know that that 100,000 or whatever she's giving you, you can turn into 2 million. And so that's why we do the financial literacy before we give them the equipment. We don't believe in giving you the tools without telling you what are the advantages attached to these tools. There's a committee in the Office of the First Lady responsible for this. And beside me are two of my members of the committee. So we all put our head together and we go all around Lagos State collecting. We want you to know that even if it's a barbing kit she's giving you, you can do something with it.
In the next 2 weeks, the Office of the First Lady will be presenting various empowerment tools to selected beneficiaries involved in medium and small-scale businesses.
The Lagos State government is working to minimize the amount of waste going to major dump sites such as those in Olusosan, Ojota, Igodo, and other destinations. In an interview on our breakfast program, Sunrise Daily, earlier today, the Commissioner for Environment, Tokunbo Wahab, reiterated that the state's long-term plan is to get alternatives to refuse collection sites so they can be decommissioned. According to him, the combined challenges of migration and urbanization means the state government has to be creative in solving the problems associated with waste disposal.
Let me put this in a context. If you tell me Lagos is smelling, I'll ask you, where do you stay in Lagos? So I'll be able to situate where that narrative is coming from. We are all familiar with Olusosun, the dump site here around Ikeja. And then if you stay around Alimosho, you must be familiar with that one on Igondo Road, Solo Street. We call it Solo Street. What we've done differently is minimize the number of waste going there, and then with a long-term plan to decommission it in the next 18 months. To decommission, you also need to get a proper alternative. And for any growing city like Lagos in the world, where you have the challenges of urbanization and migration combined, you must be able to think outside the box to solve the problem. We generate between 13 and 14,000 tons of waste a day. That is humongous for just Lagos. So creatively, we've now found a way to minimize to the barest minimum the quantum of waste that ends up in our landfill. And by so doing, we now have an arrangement that will give us waste to wealth, where your compost becomes, your organic waste becomes a fertilizer, compost fertilizer. The plastic is recycled to become your dust bin. So we can start giving Lagosians to build a waste disposal culture. It's a culture you have to build, like they do in other climes that are developed. Then you have the one for waste to energy. Then you have the one that companies like Lafarge have said they want the combustible waste for their own factory. So at the end of the day, by the time you segregate all this waste we're talking about, the 14,000 tons of waste, we may end up not having more than 500 tons that will end up in our landfill.
Welcome back to Newsroom Series. The Ogun State government has expressed its desire towards taking over the abandoned federal government project, the 9-megawatt hydropower project under the Ogun or Shun River Basin Development Authority located by the Oyan Dam in Amotekun, the north local government area of the state. The state governor, Prince Abiodun, gave the hint during an on-the-spot assessment of facilities, saying that his administration is already in alliance with the Bureau of Public Enterprises on the modalities for the takeover. He said that taking over the hydropower plant will boost his administration's plan to improve power supply across the state, as it will be merged with the ongoing 20-megawatt power plant elsewhere as part of the Light Up Ogun State initiative of his administration for the right energy mix for domestic and industrial use.
Presents stranded renewable energy. This is clean energy. Hydropower is clean energy. We have been engagement with the Bureau of Public Enterprise, and there's an alignment between us and BPE on Ogun State taking over this hydro plant and merging it with our plant that's gas-fired, so we have the right energy mix. And that's another reason why we've come here to see what can we do to ensure that these stranded or idle power plants are fully optimized. And we've seen. I'm sure that in a few weeks, engineers will be here back and forth to, ascertain the integrity and how we can resuscitate these plants. for use and the benefit of all sons and daughters of Ogun State under our Ogun State Light Up project, which I mentioned to you earlier that we are having power plants in Abeokuta, we are going to have in Ijebu, we are going to have in Remo, we are going to have in Yewa land to ensure that we have enough power supply for our citizens.
The political class in the country has been admonished to do that which will ensure justice, equity, as well as promote inclusion in order to reduce the level of poverty which fuels extremism. This was part of the takeaway from the lecture delivered by the former chairman and chief executive of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, Zikrullah Kunke Hassan, at the 2025 special iftar organized by the Ogun State government, held at the arcade ground of the government's office back in the state capital. The state governor, Dakwa Abiodun, seized the occasion to appeal to the youth population in the country to seek more knowledge for better understanding for a unified, united and peaceful Nigeria for all.
The 2025 annual special iftar, organized by the Ogun State government, brings together scholars, traditional rulers from the 4 zones of the state, members of the National and State Assembly, service commanders, members of the State Executive Council, and Islamic faithful.
Right or wrong or perception of injustice.
Delivering the lecture titled Islam and the Rejection of Extremism, the former chairman and chief executive officer of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, Zikrullah Hassan, identified injustice, poverty, manipulation of the policy which breeds contempt as the root cause of extremism.
The first indeed was that the economy was bad. There were more poor people, and they are growing in several numbers. The external influence came in, and then we had issues that we cannot manage. Quickly, Your Excellency, therefore, the first solution to extremism is to continuously find a way to decrease poverty in our environment. The second would be to ensure that justice is at all times.
The Ogun State Governor, Dakwa Abiodun, challenged the youth to seek more knowledge and understanding towards reducing strife that causes political and religious crisis in the country.
I urge you to seek knowledge, pursue wisdom, and embrace the noble values of Islam. Ask questions, explore your faith, and let the spirit of understanding lead you towards greatness. As Govt said, seek knowledge. Seeking knowledge is an obligation upon every Muslim.
He also used the occasion to assure residents of the state about the commitment of his administration towards providing the much-needed purposeful leadership for development.
Here in Ogun State, government remains committed to promoting interfaith harmony, religious tolerance, and peaceful coexistence. We deeply appreciate the invaluable contributions of our Muslim brothers and sisters towards building a just, inclusive, and progressive society.
Governor Abiodun also asked Nigerians to seize the opportunity of the teachings and lessons of the season to take care of the less privileged in society.
Operatives of the Ondo State Security Network Agency, codenamed the Amotekun Corps, have arrested about 58 crime suspects in various parts of the state. Parading the suspects at the headquarters of the Corps in Akure, the state capital, the state commander of the Corps, Adesunji Adeleye, noted that 32 out of those being paraded are suspected kidnappers.
Thank you.
These suspects were apprehended by officers of the Southwest Security Outfit, Amotekun, within forests and communities in Akure North, Akure South, Osa local government area, as well as the Akoko axis of Ondo State. According to the state commander of the security outfit, the officers got suspicious when the men could not explain their mission in the forest.
We are all aware of the criminal activities that happened in the deep forest of Akure North, local government area of the state. The government had drafted a joint patrol team comprising of the army, the police, the civil defense, and Amotekun men. And we've been able to restore normalcy to the Ago-Imbo, Ago-Dada, Ago-Ademekun, Ago-Sunday and its environment. And as we talk now, normalcy has been restored in the area, and the government are directed that Amotekun posts be put in place as a control point in those remote areas to prevent a situation where, after the exit of the present team, that these marauders can come back.
He says as part of efforts to combat criminal activities, Amotekun is collaborating with other security agencies to monitor trucks entering the state from the northern part of the country, and anyone with more than 5 men will be sent back.
The result of the efforts of the armored rangers and other departments of Ondo State Security Network Agency is what you are seeing today. Armored Rangers is doing very, very well, and in collaboration with other security agencies. You will agree with me that the land mass in the forest is massive. That is why we are asking the farmers to key into our distress line number, which remains the 0807-99-99989, once they see any funny movement or what they are not clear about.
In separate interviews, the leaderships of the Hausa Fulani community, as well as the cattle dealers, condemn the high rate of crime, promising to support the government and security agencies to ensure peace.
We give our word to work to see that there's no any crime or repeated crime again that happen. I will sympathize with people of Ondo State over the disease that lost their life.
We will collaborate and work with the government to assist the government. And Amotekun, like we are doing before, Amotekun Commander Tunji Adele, we are collaborating. Anything that you see, you call me Alaji Bronia, and we are collaborating to make sure Ondo State is the most peaceful state in Nigeria. Every one of us, you know.
The Amotekun Corps gives further security assurances to law-abiding residents of Ondo State. Nevertheless, it appeals to the public to always be conscious of activities around them and report anything suspicious to security agencies.
The Oyo-Shun Area Command of the Nigerian Customs Service has intercepted smuggled goods worth over 400 million naira within 17 days in the month of March. The command's controller, Joseph Adelaja, disclosed this at a press briefing held at the command's headquarters in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. The controller attributed the success to effective intelligence sharing between the Customs Intelligence Unit, the Customs Police Unit, and the collaboration of key stakeholders in the fight against smuggling activities within its jurisdiction. The controller warned all individuals involved in smuggling activities to desist or face strong resistance from its men. He asked that the command will continue to leverage on communal support and interagency collaboration to rid the two states of smuggling activities.
Cannabis sativa, 660 kg, 21,780,000 naira. The means of conveyance were 3, DPV of 180,406,102 naira only. This brings it to the total sum of 468,706,602 naira. Notably, these foreign purple rice were concealed in 3 heavy-duty trucks. Unfortunately, these trucks were used to smuggle prohibited items. These illegal activities do not only undermine the nation's economy, but also pose a serious threat to the safety and well-being of our citizens. I would like to sound a note of warning to smugglers who persist in engaging in illegal activities that are detrimental to the economic growth of our nation. That man will leave no stone unturned to enforce necessary compliance of custom laws. I would like to assure the general public that the officers and men of Oyo-Shun Area Command remain resolute in the fight against smuggling and illicit trade.
And that's it on Newsroom Series today. Thank you for watching. I'm Olumide Macaulay.